Hey everybody, Mark Johnson here, founder and creative director of Able Ape Studios, back again with another episode of For the Love of Monday, episode number 31. So yes, I hope everyone is off to a positive and productive week. You know, we got a long week ahead, and it's great to start off on the right foot. So I hope everyone is starting their week off on the right foot. I know for myself, this last past week was definitely a try one, starting off from day one. And so I'm glad that day one of this week has started off well. I put myself in the right mindset, and I am continuing on each and every day this week to have a success. That's what I'm hoping for, that's what I'm believing, and that's what I'm working towards. So, just kind of give you a brief little about this last week, just kind of some of the things that I thought about over the weekend, which were points that I realized were things that I can use whenever I get myself in a situation where it's a little sticky, you know, a little trying, you know, a little dark, if you will. But one of the things that I did last week, when as my week started off from day one, not too great, I just kind of put myself in a place where I understand that there's some things that I can control, and there's some things that I can't. And I think doing that, understanding, you know, the things I can control and things I couldn't, and also being specific in the things that I wanted. You know, I think that was another thing that was very, very important to kind of help me through the tough times of last week. You know, so understanding the things I could control and the things I couldn't, and also just being specific in the things that I wanted, or the things that I was looking towards, that I needed, or that I was hoping to have. I think also another thing that was important, that I learned from this last week, because I took a little time over the weekend, you know, after I posted my Here's for the Weekend post, and just kind of spent some time just kind of thinking about the things that were positive, you know, and that's what it was. It was, you know, also having a positive mindset. And I know people talk about having a positive mindset all the time, and when you're in the shit, it's tough to kind of have a positive mindset, and I get that. But I think at the same time, if you know you're having a negative fit, or, you know, negative thoughts or whatever, and you're mindful of that, you can at any point and at any time just flip that and start thinking positively. It doesn't have to be, you know, it's important to also understand that when you're thinking it positively, you're not thinking like, okay, I'm on this kind of stuff like that, and, you know, I'm down and whatever and whatnot, and then immediately, if you think you're going to start thinking positively, that's not going to work. You got to kind of work yourself out of it, you know, especially if it's like negative self-talk, where you're calling yourself worthless, or you're calling yourself stupid, and, you know, if you're not even noticing it, that's a bad thing. That's definitely a tough thing to kind of work out of. But if you're noticing that that's what your negative self-talk is telling you, you can work yourself out of it by saying, no, I'm not worthless. I'm a good person. I'm worth something. I can do this. I will do this. I'm going to do this, you know. And start with little baby steps. And that's what I was doing last week, is that I was, you know, telling myself these things. I was like, where is it coming from? And it was obviously coming from a point where I was just in a bad mood, and things that weren't going my way. And so I kind of had to work myself. So those three things were definitely influential in helping me getting out of that bad funk, and having the way the week started be completely different than the way the week ended. And so being mindful of that, I'm going to continue that through this week and the rest of the year, and make that a part of my daily kind of habit. So, you know, in a sense, being able to know what I want specifically, understanding the things I can control and can't control, and also just being able to keep a positive outlook no matter what things look like, you know. So that was kind of what I drew out of what I went through last week, and I definitely, like I said, want to continue on this week. And so I just kind of want to impart that with you. I think also at the same time, I want to keep my streak going. So today's quote of the day is, tough times never last, but tough people do. So there you have it. Today's quote of the day. if you've been watching the channel, you know that I've been talking about some of the projects that I've been working on, and I'm continuing to work on them. You know, I mean, the plan is to kind of finish them by the end of the year, but as it's coming, you know, it's kind of working on. I mean, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But one thing that I realized within working on these projects is that there's momentum there, and I'm building it, and I'm knowing that at a certain point the project will be completed, and it's just kind of a matter of time, kind of seeing how that's going to work out. I don't necessarily know how it's going to work out, you know, if I will attain my goal, but at the same time, I have the goal, number one, and number two, I'm not necessarily not working on it. I'm not focused, you know, I am focused on these things, and so it's just a process, you know. And you know, I read an article recently where it was talking about, you know, not setting yourself up for failure or, you know, hurtful feelings by, you know, setting these goals and working towards them, and then if you don't attain that goal, you know, putting yourself in a funk or in a bad mood because you didn't attain that goal. I think you also want to put pressure on yourself so that you can complete them, you know, on time, as you said. But I think at the same time, you know, completion is better than not completing it, you know. And so at the same time, I want to be able to complete the project, you know, whether it's on time or just kind of as they are. I mean, I understand if you're in a business or you're working on projects where you're getting paid, you know, the person wants them on time. So that is a kind of a different little bit of story. But so as I speak about these projects, I always speak about them, but I don't ever show you anything that I'm necessarily working on. So here's a couple teasers of the children's book that I'm working on. It was inspired by, it was inspired by, you know, children's book that I read when I was a kid, and you know, it was kind of very important to me. I don't know where those books are now, but the idea came to me through those books, and that it was kind of also an idea that I wanted to create products or even gifts that were handmade. And so I kind of like, well, maybe I can write a story and I can illustrate it and create a book that I can give to my sister's niece for her birthday, or you know, whatever, Christmas or whatever it is. And so I started from there. So these kind of came out of that. So these characters kind of came out of that, being that it's, you know, she's, you know, not even elementary, she's probably like kindergarten, first grade. And so it was just kind of like, what kind of story can I tell that's gonna help inspire her as she goes throughout her life? You know, because like kind of like the books that I read when I was a kid that inspired me and gave me, you know, a perspective on life that, you know, keeps positive, that builds self-esteem and those kind of things. So that's kind of where that kind of came from. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing on the channel, definitely subscribe. And if you want to share with me what you got going on this week, definitely leave that in the comment box below. You know, let me know what you got going, you know, in the sense of, you know, be it project wise, or maybe you're dealing with a tough issue coming ahead. Maybe I can help you out with that. So leave a comment box below. Let's, you know, start a conversation, maybe help each other out. And yeah, like we always do at this time, have a blessed day. See you on the flip side. Let's go.